Hi everyone, today we are going to learn about what is Pythagoras Theorem, then followed by basic trigonometric functions and then some examples. So stay tuned to the end of the video to learn about basic trigonometry. So let's start off with Pythagoras Theorem. So what is actually Pythagoras Theorem? To understand Pythagoras Theorem, we first need to know what is actually a right angle triangle. So a right angle triangle basically means that there exists one angle which is 90 degree in the triangle. So this triangle is a right angle triangle because there is a 90 degree angle. So the longer side of the triangle is called hypotenuse. Let's say this is A, this is B, this is C. So according to Pythagoras theorem, a square equal to b square plus c square. So if we want to find out what is the hypotenuse, which is a, will be square root of b square plus c square. So this is called Pythagoras theorem. So let's say if we have the angle, the opposite of the angle which is b is called opposite. Then if the angle is here, below the angle is called adjacent. So once we understand Pythagoras theorem, we can proceed to understand about the trigonometry functions. So let's start off with what is the common trigonometry functions. So let's say if we have the most common one is called tangent theta, cosine theta, and sine theta. So how do we remember what is the value of a tangent theta? You can remember the words TOA, TOR, which is opposite over adjacent side of the triangle. What is cosine value? You remember the words CA, which is adjacent over hypotenuse. And what is sine value of sine theta? You remember the words SO, opposite over hypotenuse. So we also have another three type of trigonometry function, which is called cotangent, which is 1 over tangent, and we also have second, which is 1 over cosine. You can remember the third character is a C, so it's a 1 over cosine, and also have cosecant is equal to 1 over sine. You can remember by remembering the third character of cosecant, which is S, so it's a 1 over sine. So let's try with the first example to understand what is actually the to understand what is actually TOR, CA, SO using example. So let's say if we have the right angle triangle like this. So let's say we have a right angle triangle, this is value 3, this is 4, the angle is here. So if we want to find out what is the tangent, so we remember that just now we use TOR for tangent, so opposite over adjacent. So what is the opposite of this angle, which is 3? Then how about the adjacent value of this angle, which is the line below the angle, which is 4. So the answer for tangent theta is 3 over 4. Let's say if we want to find what is actually the cosine of the value, so we remember that it is CAH, C-A-H. So adjacent over hypotenuse. So before we calculate this, we need to know what is the hypotenuse by using Pythagoras theorem. So we know that, let's say we have this called A. So A square equal to 3 square plus 4 square. So 3 square is 9 plus 4 square is 16 is equal to 25. So A equal to square root of 25 is equal to 5. So let's say we have the hypotenuse equal to 5. So adjacent value is 4, hypotenuse is 5. So we have cosine theta equal to 4 over 5. Let's say now we have sine theta. So we remember that for sine we use SOH, S-O-H. So opposite of the angle is 3 and hypotenuse is 5. So we have 3 over 5. So now let's say we want to find out what is cotangent. So we know that is 1 over tangent. So 1 over tangent is equal to 4 over 3. So exactly the opposite of this. So let's say we want to find second. We remember the third character, so it's 1 over cos. So when calculate 1 over cosine, we have 5 over 4. Let's say now we have cosecant, which is 1 over sine. So 1 over sine is 5 over 3. So it's the opposite of this. So I hope you understand how you can actually calculate different trigonometric functions by remembering Tutor, So. So let's start with another example. So now let's say we have the example also a right angle triangle. So let's say here we have 6 and then now we have 10 here. So now let's say we want to find about the same trigonometric functions, tangent. So tangent we know that is TOA. So opposite over adjacent. So opposite of the angle is actually 6. How about adjacent? We need to use Pythagoras Theorem to calculate. So 10 square equal to 6 square plus b square. So 100 minus 36 equal to b square. So 64 equal to b square. So b equal to 8. So since the adjacent value is equal to 8, so we have 6 over 8. So now continue with cosine. So cosine is car. So let's say we have adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent value of this cosine theta. So adjacent of the triangle is actually 8. Hypotenuse is 10. So let's find out what is sine. So sine we have So S-O-H. So opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite is 6 over 10. So with this we can calculate what is cotangent. So cotangent is 1 over tangent. So we flip the numerator and denominator, 8 over 6. Followed by what is second. So we remember the third character, so it's 1 over cosine. So 1 over cosine, we flip the numerator and denominator, 10 over 8. So let's say we have cosecant. So also the third character. So 1 over sine is 10 over 6. So with this, we can try out how you can actually find out the value of the length of a triangle using trigonometric functions and its angle. So let's start off with one examples. Let's say we have this one is 90 degree. Let's say we have this 32 and we want to find out one of the angle x. So how can we find out what is x? So we know that now the angle is here. So 12 is actually the adjacent. And we also know that x is opposite of this angle. So we have O and A. So if we have O and A, which trigonometric function should we use? So we should use Tutor. So we should use tangent. So tangent 32 degree equal to opposite, which is x, over adjacent, which is 12. So we cross multiply, we have x equal to 12 tangent 32 degree. So 12 multiply with tangent 32, use your calculator, you will get 7.498. So let's try another example. Let's say now we want to find x, which is the hypotenuse, and we have the value here 15, and we have the angle here 20 degree. So 15 is opposite of this angle, so this side is called opposite. Then we know that x is a hypotenuse, so we have h, we have o, so we are going to use which trigonometric function? We have h, we have o, so we are going to use saw. So we have used sine 20 degree equal to opposite, which is 15, over hypotenuse, which is x. So how do we do this? We use cross multiplication. So x sine 20 equal to 15. So x equal to 15 over sine 20 degree. So the answer is, you use your calculator, you will get sine 20, you will get 43.857. Since this is the hypotenuse and the answer is larger than 15, so it makes sense because x is the largest, is the longest of the, in terms of length for this triangle. So let's try final example. Let's say we have this triangle. So now we have the angle here 30 degree, and let's say the value here is 10. This is a right angle triangle, and we want to find what is actually x. So now we know that the value for 10 is actually adjacent, and x is actually hypotenuse because it's the longest in terms of length. So we have h, we also have a. So which trigonometric function should we use? We should use cosine, because so cosine theta, which is 30 degree, equal to adjacent, so 10 over hypotenuse x. So similarly we use cross multiplication, so we have x equal to 10 over cos sine 30 degree. So press your calculator, 10 over cosine 30, you will get the answer 11.547. So the answer is larger than the value of the adjacent, which is 10. So it makes sense because this is the hypotenuse. So I hope you have learned something new about Pythagoras theorem as well as trigonometric functions. And if you like the way I explain and you want to learn more about the mathematics topics, you can check out my playlist where I share more about other mathematics topics. Thank you.